My name is Dave Tanner, and I am doing my Peter Zumthor architect interview.
My name is Ryan Short. I'm one of the founders and principals of Cotton Architecture and Design, located here in Phoenix.
The first question is, what key life experiences have formed who you are today?
My dad grew up as a farmer. He's very hands-on. He likes to build things. I grew up building things with him in the basement. So there's kind of a hands-on nature there. My mom's side, they grew up as sort of healthcare professionals. So even though, I never set out trying to get into healthcare architecture, it's kind of all I think I was made to do in a certain way. But I've always been interested in building things. I build things with wood to this day, just for fun. I love seeing how things are put together. I love building spaces. I love all of that.
And how did you become passionate about and involved in architecture?
Kind of had an interest in math, was always pretty good at art and sketching, and always was sketching in a sketchbook. So I decided to take the architecture drafting class. Loved it. But yeah, I always kind of grew up sketching houses. I remember grew up in Wisconsin, and we would drive to Michigan where my grandparents lived, and I'd sit in the back of the van and do sketches. And for whatever reason, I always drew either semi trucks, or I would draw house plans or casino floor plans of all things. I remember, trying to figure out how an elevation worked, like trying to take a floor plan and trying to figure out sort of really rough axon views and stuff like that to look at things in 3D. So always been thinking in 3D. Always, when I'm trying to design, I'm always designing in perspective a lot of times. It's just kind of how my brain works and what's fun to me, I guess.
What are your core values and how are they reflected in your practice today?
People. I'm an introvert, but I really like people. I care about people, and I'm generally interested in who they are and where they come from and what they like. I have always believed in just continuing education, never stop learning. My parents always told me to work hard and play hard, so I think I do that as well.
What is your design process? It says include design thinking, visualization, and realization.
I am always asking the client, what do you want? At the end of the day, we serve them. And then I take those seeds that they give me and I try to come up with something kind of more personally. When I'm starting to design, I kind of like, it might sound weird, I might start again with sort of a loose perspective, put my pen on a piece of paper and I just let my hand go. It's kind of almost like letting the idea come out of the line work without really knowing what it's going to be. And you kind of shop around. I call it design shopping, seeing what's out there, see if there's some cool ideas that you can selectively borrow. So we have, Revit up on our one monitor and Enscape up on the other, and we're kind of actively modeling and kind of real life rendering at the same time. And you just got to get out of your head and just do something.
How do you collaborate with other individuals to realize your impactful work?
I think it's just having open conversations and engaging with them all along the way, so that the impact they can make is as great as possible. Trying to figure out what the goals are and what each person is working towards and what we as a group are working towards, and just removing any barrier to that.
How has Peter Zumthor's architectural ideas and buildings impacted your architectural practice?
The project of his that stands out in my head is the baths is it Switzerland? Just a beautifully detailed building, a masterful use of materials in kind of unique ways. You can go to the hot bath, experience it. You can go to the cold and you can see the difference between the hot and the cold. And you start to appreciate one or the other based on, moving between them almost. And that, I think it's kind of one of those things, you have to experience hot to know what cold is. You have to, you have to kind of know both extremes, and you'll find your spot somewhere in the middle. But I think understanding what that is and getting outside of your comfort zone and makes you appreciate it and respect the extremes a little bit more.
Okay, so the next question is, what are the biggest challenges that you face?
It is challenging to give clients high design for low design prices. That is a constant challenge.
What advice would you give to a young student?
Get outside architecture, be a member of AIA, but also do other professional groups outside the AIA. Get inspiration from other fields, other people, other types of people. You might not be the best designer, but you might be the best project manager. I think there's so many facets of architecture that there's a place for you somewhere. Pretty broad field, and I don't think people get credit for excelling in those other pieces of the profession. Just get out and find your spot.
Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate it.